Which province in Canada do you think makes the highest average income per family? Nope. I heard a lot of answers. I'm going to tell you which one. It's in Alberta at $93,000. Just to put in perspective, because a lot of people said Ontario. Ontario's in the $70,000 range, okay? $70,000. So you would assume since people in Alberta, since they make more money than everybody else, they should have more money than everybody else, right? Well, no, just so you take a look at this, Alberta tops Canada with the highest average debt per family. They have the highest over any other province in the country. How's that possible? Let me tell you what's going on in that province, because it's very, very obvious, okay? You have a bunch of young adults with a limited education working on the rigs. And you can make a lot of money working on the rigs. And you don't need a strong education to do that. So what happens is they finish school or they quit school, they go work on the rigs, they make $100,000, $200,000 a year. It's an immense amount of money. And while they're making all that money, guess what they're buying? Fur coats, pickup trucks. Like, we hear all these stories. It's insane. So they're making all this money for a short period of time. Do you think they're saving and investing it? No, they're buying things that are losing value over and over and over again. And then what happens is when you're doing that job, it's a dangerous job. It's a scary job. You're away from your family. They can't do it forever. So what they do is they quit the job, but they still have all these bills they got to pay because of all these things that they committed to, but they can't replace that income. Why? Because they don't have an education to do it. So then they have to file for bankruptcy because they can't pay their bills. They resort to alcohol and drugs, and they become a liability to the government when at one point they're contributing to the economy. Not because they didn't make enough money, because they didn't know how to manage the money they made. It's such a shame because it's such an avoidable problem.
I worked on the oil rigs after my first year of university. When I saw my first paycheck, I was shocked. I mean, I'd never seen that amount of money in relation to work put in. You know, my temptation was, and particularly the people I was hanging out with who were working in the patch as a career. And the pattern was work for 3 weeks, get 3 days off. And in that 3 days off, it seemed to be the objective was spend as much of your paycheck as you possibly could cram into 36 hours. So I looked at that and said, that looks like fun. And, you know, this was the middle of August, 90 degrees, and the guys are buying fur coats and whatever they could sort of put their hands on. And I came that close to the allure of all these goods that were, for the first time, you know, within my reach. And I very nearly found myself buying a fur coat in the middle of August in Edmonton, Alberta. Thankfully, and remembered why I was there, which was to actually save money to go back to school in the fall. What the experience taught me about managing money is I got to witness firsthand the pattern of spending exactly what you made or more. And I saw other people doing it. And after a couple of those cycles, I realized that that was a cycle these people were not going to get out of.
Some people say, you know what? This guy's a really good speaker, but you know what? At the end of the day, this seems like too hard. You know what? Maybe I should win the lottery. That's way easier, right? You know what I mean? Let's just do that. 20%, 1 in 5 Canadians believe winning the lottery is the best path to financial security. I want to just show you your odds of winning the lottery, okay? You have a 1 in 13,983,000 chance of winning Lotto 649, okay? So that just puts that in perspective. Nearly 1 in 14 million chance of winning the lottery. If you're playing the lottery, all you're doing is paying more tax, okay? Let's just be clear. And my favorite thing is, well, somebody's got to win. Like, don't do that. You have a 1 in 2 million chance of being struck by lightning. Well, somebody's got to be struck by lightning, right? You know what I mean? Like, think about that. You have a better chance, like a much better chance of being struck by lightning 6 times. 6 times. Like, way better odds of that happening than winning the lottery. You have a 1 in 705,000 chance of giving birth to quadruplets. Like, I have a better chance of giving birth to quadruplets than most of you ever have of winning the lottery. And this is my favorite, craziest thing. 70% of people who win the lottery go bankrupt in the first 3 years anyways. You can't give somebody a whack load of money, expect them to know what to do with it. Building wealth takes responsibility, takes discipline. Giving somebody a whack load of money and expecting them to know what to do with it, that's not fair to them. Because what they do is they go buy a bunch of stuff that's always losing value and they just don't get it. This $2 million will last forever. Jay and I went to Vegas and we rented these cars and we rented a Lamborghini, and that's my dream car. I want one. I'll get one day when my kids are a little older, right? And when I got back, I just did the research because I just wanted to see, what does it cost to maintain this stuff, right? I drive a pickup truck and, if I want to do an oil change on my pickup truck, it's about $50 to $75, anywhere around that. An oil change on a Lamborghini, any idea? About 1,000, right? About 1,000, yeah. A brake job on my pickup truck is about $750 for front and back brakes, right? On a Lambo, it's around $9,000 for a brake. This isn't if your engine breaks down or tranny. This is just maintenance, right? Well, it's not like you can go to Canadian Tire and go to the teenager behind the counter and say, yeah, I drive a 2016 Lamborghini Gallardo. I just want to know where the brake pads are. Aisle 15. No, you think it's ship that stuff in from Italy and they only make like 30 of them a year, right? So it's a lot of money. You give somebody a whack load of money that's never had that money, they don't know what to do. It's like, imagine they say, hey, Kev, you won the lottery. You get to play with the Toronto Raptors this week, right? Could you imagine that? Let's play the Toronto. I get to play with the Raptors. Could you imagine if I went and played with the Raptors tonight? I haven't played basketball in 20 years, man. I'm short, chunky, white. Doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't just toss somebody into the, Raptors to expect them to know what to do. I don't have the discipline and skills to do it. Giving somebody millions of dollars and expect them to know what to do with it, in most cases, they don't.
Blow it all on games and toys, because that's just me.
Pay off my debt and then probably buy a house.
I would probably buy a house that has land and get my cow.
A really big house.
Give half of it to my parents.
I would probably invest half of it.
Maybe try to invest the other half.
I would buy my daughter a house in Vancouver somewhere.
Maybe buy a car and travel the world for a bit.
I personally would invest it in tech software.
I'll just put it in a savings account and let it sit there for a while.
So 2 skills. One, you got to learn how to make money. The other, you have to learn how to save and invest it, and that's what we're here to do today, okay? It is critically important. And the best part of it is, to learn how to make money takes months, years to do, because you have to develop that skill, right? To learn how to save and invest it takes hours. Takes hours. Isn't that amazing? The amount of time you have to learn how to make money takes a long time, but learn how to save and invest it does not take a lot.
I think we all struggle to try to find balance in our lives and to be happy, and I think we chase happiness by buying things, by trying to make more money, and that's not always effective. Trying to fill your joy bank with money sometimes still leaves it feeling really empty.
Well, I think we're all on a certain level, especially when you're talking about personal or family finances, we're all ultimately our own leaders. It just comes down to personal responsibility. There's no point doing something that people will pat you on the back for doing if ultimately it leads to an outcome you can't live with. Just remember, especially when it comes to your own money, you're responsible, you're accountable. If somebody else talks you into something, it doesn't matter. You're the one who has to live with the consequences.
One thing I always say is that if you do not diagnose the problem correctly, the prescription is not obvious. If we know why we overspend, and if we know why we have credit card debt, it's a little bit easier to fix. Sometimes it's not just pay your credit card bill on time every month and everything's gonna heal with your money problems. There's something deeper there. Why are you overspending? And what external or internal narratives are influencing that? So an example of those narratives could be your family history and how you grew up around money. Did you grow up in a family that always said things like, we can't afford that? Or did you grow up in a family where you had a lot of money and maybe you were living in an environment where there were people around you that didn't have money, so you're trying to dim down the amount of money that you have. There's so many different narratives that will create these money disorders that we have, and those narratives are what can impact our financial irresponsibility.
I want to congratulate you for completing the first financial mastery step, watching Money Myths. By doing so, you've set the stage for the rest of the program. As a reminder, please be sure to review and complete everything in the Enriched Academy workbook in the Money Myths section before continuing. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next section.